Wow. Okay, sorry, I haven't come back with one of these analysis videos. Mostly it's because these take a surprisingly long time to make, despite them only being like 8 minutes or so. And, well, I didn't expect them to be as popular as they were. Thank you, guys. Anyways, let's get back onto the actual video. If you watched my previous video on Gegege no Kitaro, you know that one is how I didn't really like the 2018 version. And surprisingly, some people agreed with me. I was going to make a video tearing apart Graveyard Kitaro, but then I realized that it could only really be summed up in like a 5-minute discussion. So I decided to get something a little bit more positive out of the way. With all of these adaptations of Gegege no Kitaro, which one do I think is the best and or is my favorite? Well, I guess that would be the 2007 version, the one before 2018. And I've barely heard anyone talk about this version. Normally, it's only really the 90s Kitaro that gets any discussion, and while I do agree that one is pretty good, I still think 2007 has a lot of credit. First, I'll discuss Kitaro himself. One of my main complaints about 2018 was that Kitaro was too bland, and that the other adaptations of Kitaro amplify one of his traits. This one amplifies his bashfulness and makes him more expressive. However, he's not a complete wuss. This version of Kitaro still knows when to get serious and berate others for their mistakes. I find this version of Kitaro to be second to, I guess, the 90s version. 2007 might not be the best depiction of Kitaro, but it's still up there. Another thing that 2007 does well is the side characters. They all feel like they get a reasonable amount of screen time without taking any from Kitaro himself. Since Kitaro himself has a more definitive personality and not a deus ex machina, it doesn't feel out of place whenever he comes in. While not every new yokai is going to become a main part of the cast, they still leave a huge impact. Another thing 2007 does right is expand on previous characters. I barely mentioned Nezumi Otoko in 2018, but honestly in every version except this one he's a flat character. He's like mid-season Mr. Krabs. He's always trying to make a scheme, and often he's the instigator for most plots. 2007 has an episode that I consider to be part of my top 10, where Nezumi finds a yokai baby he then takes care of, and then he berates the biological father for being a neglectful dad. Which he was, by the way. In another episode, which I'll discuss in a separate section, Nezumi Otoko actually genuinely cares for Kitaro and weeps when he dies. Then we have Neko Musume, who was given a bit more personality in the 90s version, but in 2007, I say this is the best version of her here. She still has that arrogance about her, but she still overall cares for Kitaro's well-being, without being a tsundere. And finally, Kitaro's dad also got some pretty solid screen time. In most of the adaptations, he kinda just acted like an encyclopedia, with a little bit of heartfelt moments here and there to truly expand on how much he loves his son. But 2007 shows rather than tells. One episode has Kitaro's dad go around doing odd jobs to try and buy Kitaro a bike. Which is so wholesome, by the way. He is so small, yet he is trying his hardest. Another thing about Kitaro adaptations is that they'll often overlap in episodes, which means some of the bad episodes or below average episodes also get carried over. Like the Gyuki episode. Here's how it normally goes. The crew go to an island, they then encounter the Gyuki, Kitaro turns into the Gyuki, because that's what it does. The crew and then all the town go to pray at the shrine so that the god can save Kitaro, and that's normally how the episode ends. I find this episode just kind of boring, to be honest. But 2007 took this episode and actually made it good. Some changes that it does is that Kitaro actively fights against the Gyuki's control. And the prayer initially doesn't work. So everyone has to watch as Kitaro has to sacrifice himself by throwing himself into a volcano. And you think, oh man, is he genuinely going to be dead? And then it's revealed at the end that he's okay, because the god did save him after all. Again, only other in the 90s version did we get to see a hint of what this plot could have been if they took this further, and 2007 takes that and runs with it. If you could turn an episode that's considered boring into something that actually hits really hard, then I think that you made it as a good adaptation. Other small things that makes this series good would be the hub area, the yokai alley. I thought that Gegege forest in 2018 was kinda too bland. It just looked like a generic anime forest. And the yokai alley has a bunch of little shops, an inn, a little massage place, and it feels like a natural place the yokai would go and meet. The side yokai, again, they're good. Kawauso is one of my favorites, mostly for his personality and his voice. Amabiye I thought was going to be annoying, but surprisingly she wasn't. She just felt a bit misguided in her first episode, and she's actually pretty adorable in the rest. Rokurokubi having a little love story with a human, and their relationship is shown throughout the entire series afterwards, and they're pretty cute. And of course the yokai from the OG crew are here too. I don't really have much to say about them as a whole, but if you like them, then yeah, they're 10 times more likable here, and 10 times more prevalent than they were in 2018. Sorry if I keep comparing this series to 2018, but I just kinda wanna show why I think 2007 is better than 2018 and why I like this one better than the other one. In conclusion, I think 2007 is heavily underrated by the Gegege no Kitaro community, and I think more people should watch it. There's also an ongoing plot later on during like episode 70 or in the 90s I think, which does bring back some villains from the 90s series, and of course the OG series like Blackbeard and Nuraion. I think that's his name. So if you like those aspects of the series, well, they're here. If you want to know some of the best episodes of the series, in my opinion, I say it's the Death God one, the one where we explore Kawauso's backstory, the, of course, Yokai Baby one, the Gyuki episode, and the Yokai Olympics. Before I go, I just want to thank everyone for their support on these little analysis essay videos. Again, I've only done 2 of these so far, if you're not counting this one, and I like how people are getting into the discussion portion. And again, if you like another version of Kitaro, or you think a separate Kitaro version is the best, then comment it down below. Anyways, that's all. Y'all have a good day. Editor me here. Hello. I actually did a poll before posting this video, and 2007 actually did get the majority vote on what people thought was the best version of Kitaro. I guess my opinion is not as alien as I thought it was. Okay, well, y'all have a good day, and happy Halloween, as that's when this video is coming out. Alright, bye.